Hello friends, Mrs. Taima here. And wow, we are already at the end of Module 1. Can you believe it? We, mainly you, have been working so hard to read and write about books that are helping build your knowledge. Remember, knowledge means something that you know or know about. You have been reading and writing about these books to help you build your knowledge to answer our essential question or our big boulder-sized question, how do books change lives around the world? You have read books like Waiting for the Biblio Burrow, That Book Woman, even Green Eggs and Ham. Today, we are going to use the book My Librarian is a Camel to write our end of module task. Today we are going to work on planning for that writing. So you won't have to write anything today. That will be tomorrow. But today we're going to plan what you would want to write. So let's get started. Throughout the module, you have learned that there are some essential elements that we have in a story. We called these story stones. Can anybody remember some of the essential parts of our story that we used when we were retelling different stories that we read throughout the module? You're right. A setting is an essential part of a story. The setting is where the story takes place. Who can remember another essential part of our stories? If you said character, you are right. A story has to have character or characters that the story is about. And last but not least, we have problem and resolution. The problem is where something goes wrong, and the resolution is how that problem is solved. So today, we are going to use an organizer with those essential elements to help us plan our writing for our end of module task. I'm going to show that to you now. All right, friends, I want to show this organizer to you first because it is how you're going to organize your information. Now, we're going to read and review some of the countries that we read about in My Librarian is a Camel in just a minute. So I want you to be thinking about what country you might want to choose to do your writing on. So for our settings for your essential end of module task, you are going to choose a country from My Librarian is a Camel. Then for your character, because you're writing your own story, you get to make up whatever character you want it to be and give them a name and everything. Then everyone will use the same problem below. They don't have any books. Who doesn't have any books? Well, your character that you made up. Then the resolution will be to choose a country to write about how kids get books. So let's keep going. We're going to review some of the countries that we read about and how kids in those countries get books. And we're going to make an organizer so that you have that information for you to use when you're ready to start planning your own writing. All right, friends, the first country we're going to review is Finland. Now, remember, in Finland, there were some islands that were really hard to get to. So can anybody remember how books were delivered to kids on those islands that were hard to get to? You're right, it was a boat. They delivered books by a boat, and you can see a picture of that boat right here in the top left-hand corner of the page. So we're going to go down to our organizer, and we are going to add that to our, if we were in the classroom, we would be doing a chart, but we're going to do it on the computer because we're virtual learners, right? So that would be a boat. Good job. Now, we're going to go and look at England. All right, friends. In England, it says that when people are just hanging out on hanging out on the beach, enjoying their summer holiday, 2 library assistants from nearby libraries put books in you're right, a wheelbarrow, and deliver books to people on the beach that are just hanging out. How cool would it be to be on a beach and just have somebody come by and be like, hey, here's a book. They're trying to spread the joy of reading. How fun. So let's go down to our organizer and we are going to add that to our list. All right, so we would put in wheelbarrow. Perfect. All right, friends, our next country is Thailand. And it says that there is a region of northern Thailand where there are no schools or libraries, and tribal people do not know how to read or write. So the government of Thailand is hoping to change that with a literacy program that includes bringing books to remote villages in the jungle. How do they get those books to those kids in the jungle? On an elephant. Many of these places can only be reached by foot, but you wouldn't be able to carry that many books. So an elephant helps deliver all of these books in hard to reach mountainous regions of northern Thailand. So we're going to go down and add that to our list. All right, Thailand delivered by elephants. Perfect. All right, last but not least, let's go read and review about Kenya. All right, let's remind ourselves about Kenya now. So in Kenya, there is an area called Bula Ifton. It's about 200 miles northeast of Nairobi, which is a large city in Kenya. And it is impassable because of the desert sand. But there are kids, young kids that live up there, and they need access to books. So librarians use what to deliver those books? You're right. They use camels. Wow, another animal that is helping deliver books around the country of Kenya. That is just crazy to me. That is so fun. I would love to see a camel coming up to my house bringing me books. So we're going to go down and add that to our chart. So in Kenya, they are delivered by camels. So now it is your turn to practice filling out our planner now that we've reviewed different countries. And if there's a country that you remember learning about, if you go back to September 18th, it was day 13 of Wit and Wisdom. You wrote about a country and how books are delivered to kids in that country. And if you chose a different country at that time that you know how books are delivered in that country, you can definitely choose that. I am giving these as examples for you to use. So that's up to you. So if I were doing my own writing and planning, I would come in here, and you can do it one of two ways. You can fill in your information here on this chart, like type it in, or you can write it in your Wit and Wisdom journal, take a picture and insert it on this slide, and it will go over this organizer, but that's okay because that is your organizer. So if I was choosing a country from My Librarian is a Camel, let's say I would probably choose Kenya. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you to be able to see. Okay. And then it says I can make up my own character. So I have chosen Kenya as my setting. And now my character, I'm going to make my character a boy named Jasper. And I'm going to use Jasper because that's my son's name. So a boy named Jasper is my main character. Okay, so you can make up whatever you want it to be. That bold and bigger. There you can see it. Boy named Jasper. Finally, I chose Kenya And so I'm going to write down that kids in, well, my character Jasper, he gets a book from Kenya, so it is delivered by a camel. So let's see here. I'm going to put my character gets his books from a camel. Okay, so you can choose whatever you want, whichever country you want. It does not have to be the same as mine. If you want it to be Kenya, that's fine. Or you can pick another country that you've learned about and tell how characters from, or how people, kids from that country get books delivered to them. So when you're done with this, you are done with your writing for today, because again, today we're just planning, okay? Tomorrow you'll take this and you'll actually write complete sentences. After this, you're going to do a brain break, and then you have some vocabulary to review, because tomorrow there will be a vocabulary quiz over green eggs and ham, and also there were a few words from the art lesson. All right, friends, I know you're going to do awesome at this. We have been practicing so much writing throughout the module that I know you're going to do awesome, and I can't wait to see your writing.